welcome to Press Preview. I'm Helena Leslie and I'm here with James Beeson, the editor, and Eamonn Crowe, the deputy editor of Exeposé. This week's issue is mental health focused, and male mental health in particular. Eamonn, I've heard you have a fantastic little piece in Features that you co-wrote with Fiona about male mental health. What kind of things did you discuss?
Yeah, so myself and Fiona, the news editor, we sent out a survey a few weeks ago on mental health. We had a really fantastic response. We had over 300 responses to that survey. And we wanted to particularly focus on kind of male mental health, as we felt like it's a much more underrepresented issue. And so we had some really shocking statistics kind of come from that. So one was that 45% of male students see their gender as a barrier to seeking help for mental health, compared to just 6.2% of female students. So I think that really says a lot about kind of the stigma surrounding their mental health and the expectation of men to kind of be strong and silent on those issues. And so we didn't want it to be just kind of stats heavy, so we also have some personal stories as well and some case studies. And so we met up with some people who talked to us about their own experience of male mental health and kind of what stopped them from seeking help in the first place, such as stigma within their own families about not believing in mental illness. And we actually have a piece in comment as well on that, which is really interesting.
Yes, James, actually, could you tell me about the anonymous piece?
Yeah, I can do. So it's not just Features that are focusing on mental health this week. We've got one piece in every section of the paper dedicated to mental health focus. So, for example, in Screen, there's a review of Professor Green's new documentary. But comment, there's an anonymous piece that's been sent in to comment about one student and his kind of battle with depression and self-harm after the breakdown of a relationship. It's a very raw and powerful piece, which certainly I think will resonate with a lot of people who have suffered from mental health conditions themselves, and obviously a man as well. It fits in with our theme that we think that sometimes it's harder for men to seek out and seek help.
Did you explore any ways to combat this problem of gender barrier in?
Yeah, so one really interesting statistic from another survey by the Priory Group was that over 90% of students in the Southwest feel that more could be done in terms of educating people about mental health, so in our schools and in our universities. So what we've done is we've listed a column on the end of the feature which kind of expresses all the different avenues and self-help services that the university has here. And most people just think of the Wellbeing Centre, so I think it was really great to kind of show that there's a really vast range of services that the university has, and to let people know what those are so they can use them, of course.
That sounds like a fantastic focus to have in this week's issue. In other news, you have a split front page with two different stories this week, and the first one is about Guild Society budgets and how much each society actually has. What's revealed in this?
Yeah, so we kind of published our own society rich list sort of thing, and some really interesting stuff came out of that. So I think unsurprisingly, Bracton Law are the richest society on campus. But what is surprising is that they have almost £60,000 in the bank, as it were. And so obviously they're lawyers, so they were very quick to tell us why that's the case. And so it's basically because they've had obviously a lot of successful alumni, they also have sponsorship deals, and so obviously it is a really worthwhile society, and it does a lot for people who are interested in law, but they just kind of have a lot of money to spend. And then the second richest was actually Body Sock. And they have just under £27,000 in the bank, but they didn't really want to tell us anything about that. So
a bit suspicious,
yeah.
but okay.
So they refused to comment, so we don't really know kind of how they got that or what they're spending it on. And then the other end of the spectrum, we have some societies who are in debt, so that includes the Acapella Society, but they've kind of said that's due to kind of cash flow timing issues.
James, you have another piece about student protests in London, the Socialist Exeter Society.
Yeah, that's right. So our front page image this week and our lead on page 3 is about the Exeter Socialist students attending the national demo in London, the national, I think it's hashtag Grants Not Debt demo in London. So I think there's about 15 of them that went up there. And they took part in this protest, and there's about 2,000 students in total from across the country protesting against the Conservative plans to change basically maintenance grants into loans, which is further adding to student debt. I think it's, as I say, the piece is mostly factual, but I think it's quite interesting that a lot of the mainstream media chose to report on it and focus on a small number of people who are involved in sort of violent alterations with the police, rather than focusing on what was mostly quite a peaceful demo, really.
Yeah. And our actual photographer have made it to the front page of the Independent.
Oh, okay, that's very impressive.
So that was a claim to fame
Definitely.
there.
That's why you should read this week's Exposé.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You also have 2 interviews. The first one being with Newton Faulkner and about his new album.
Yeah, so that's right. So Sarah, my co-editor, she spoke to Newton this week, and she talked about his new hair. He's had a haircut, which is big news. His long, luscious ginger locks have gone. And she talks about his new album, which is just, I'm not sure if it's been released yet, but talks about the influences on that new album, and also about his split from record label Sony Records, because he's recently split from his record label, and he talks about the freedom that's given him really to experiment a lot more in terms of his style of music and express himself a little bit more, and he's playing in Barnstable later on in the month.
Fantastic, that sounds great. And you also have one with Andy Hamilton about his stand-up in Exeter.
Yeah, so he's coming to Exeter soon, and he's quite a well-known comedian. He's been on all the kind of panel shows like Mock the Week and Have I Got News for You, and he's best known for writing the series Outnumbered, which is a fantastic, hilarious show. And so basically our arts and lit editor Jeremy kind of went to chat to him and just talked to him a bit about his career. But one of the really interesting things actually is he talks about the kind of myth that Outnumbered is kind of completely improvised, and it kind of debunks that a little bit. So that was something that really stuck out for me.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it sounds like we've got a lot of great things coming up in this week's Exposé, and thank you for talking to me today. And thank you for watching. I've been Hannah Leslie, here with James Beeson, the editor, and Eamonn Crowe, the deputy editor of Exposé. Go along and pick up a copy this week or look at it online. Thank you for watching.